What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today it's Halloween, so we're gonna do a little bit of trick or treating with ourselves. That's right, we're gonna go visit the Cryptarch and we're gonna open up some exotic Engrams. Now actually, there are 3 separate exotic Engram openings that we're going to be doing, so it's kind of crazy. The first part of this video is me starting to open up these exotics at 397 light. I was really looking forward to getting up to 400 light. I was really hoping that my exotics were going to help push me there. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Then we're going to see me opening up some Engrams at 399 light, and finally me opening some Engrams at 400 light. So since these videos were recorded several days ago, it's going to be interesting for me to relive what we were actually doing at the time and what we were looking for. Starting off right now, I could really use a helmet, I could use a chest piece, I could use some boots for sure. So we're going to see what we get. We're going to try to save our helmet and work on that. My guns, my weapons are good. My weapons are solid, but let's start off with this helmet. That helmet was 393 that I had, so I've got to get something better. I have to at least get 397, and I got 398. Okay, it's not 400, it didn't bump me up to 400, but it is 398. Apotheosis Veil, you don't see that very often in the game. It did feel like it got a little bit of a buff in that you get your grenade and your melee back whenever you activate your super, plus your health regen. But overall, I'm going to use this as infusion fuel. I'm just going to put it into my raid helmet. We're going to bump this thing up to 398 right away. That's going to help out as we open the rest. I don't know if this is going to put me to another light level or not. Let's see. Nope, I am still 397. Yeah, I've still got a ways to go before 398. So I guess we can go ahead and open up some of these gloves. We've got a ton of gloves, so hopefully we get some good light level gloves here. And impossible machines, what are they? Again, we're just going to check 397. Okay. Jeez, it is rough. Exotic Engrams are just not behaving. They're not behaving very well right now. The impossible machines, again, these are just for the Stormcaller. They grant you landfall for free, and that's basically it. So we're not really going to hold any attachment to these exotics right now, because we can always just go ahead and buy them from a kiosk, and we do want to increase our light level. Though if I would have infused that into my gloves, it wouldn't have made any difference, because you saw how far away I was from 398. So there's some 398 nothing manacles. That's nice. I do like that. Nothing manacles, very cool for the Voidwalker, especially if you like throwing those scatter grenades, because it just makes these things seek out, and you can go ahead and put this on with the hunger perk and all of those improved energy drain effects, and make yourself a life regen machine. Again, I'm still just pretty far away, so infusing those exotics into my own gloves just doesn't make a lot of sense. I would really need to get something like 400 just to make me feel really comfortable, or 399, of course. Yet again, 397 gloves. That's sad. And what are we going to get for this one? More impossible machines. Okay. And they are 398. Okay. So we're going to have to cut our losses, and we're going to infuse one of those 398 gloves into these spliced miasma red gloves. But I guess I actually had one more pair of gloves, so I might as well go ahead and pop those as well. And I got some Thagamizers. So what light level did these drop at? 397. Man, look at that. All of those glove exotics, and only 2 of them decrypted higher than the light level I already was at, and it only decrypted 1 light level higher. Exotic Engrams, they are not treating me well. These are not bumping up my light level at all. But like I said, let's just go ahead and infuse something that's 398 into these gloves. Let's just do one of the impossible machines. There we go. We got so many impossible machines. We might as well go ahead and put these into my gloves. And at least my gloves will now be 398. I won't get up to the next light level, but I'll be inching closer. Much closer. Alright, so that's kind of disappointing on all those gloves. The best light level that I got was 398. Really sad. Let's move on to our next piece of gear. Let's go ahead and open up our chest piece. And we got a Twilight Garrison. I know the Twilight Garrison is making a little bit of a comeback on Titans right now. Even though it got nerfed, people are still using it. Special and heavy in the middle is always awesome. And you get that dodge when you're in the air. Of course, you can see the light level. It is 398. Not even decrypting higher. 398. Oh man. I'm actually going to go ahead and put that over on my Hunter, because my Hunter's chest piece, I believe at the time, is 385. So that's pretty low. That 398 is going to help out a lot. And for our heavy, we got a super good advice at 399 light. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And basically, this is like an exotic version of the Raid heavy machine gun. I mean, they're a little bit different, but the general gist is that whenever you're firing off the super good advice, you're never going to have to worry about reloading this thing, and that's really cool. The super good advice perks are really amazing. The problem is, if you've got an exotic heavy, you want to use your Gjallarhorn or your sleeper or your swords. Never really the super good advice, sadly. Let's go ahead and open up our special weapons. We got a Zen meter. And we got a Cryptarch package, so we've just got to go in and go out, which is really silly. I don't know why you have to do that. And we're going to open up that chest piece, and for our final special, we get a Telesto. Very cool, very cool. So the Zen meter, both the Zen meters are 397. Oh, jeez. Okay, and the Telesto is 398 at least. Let's go ahead and look at the Zen meter. It is a PlayStation exclusive weapon. Basically, you've got dynamite and a laser beam, and it makes you fire off this amazing shot. Unfortunately, you have to proc it, and procking it isn't the easiest thing in the world. So sadly, as cool as that all is, it's really not used that much because it's really not practical most of the time. The Telesto though, that's a bit different. Telesto, you fire off fusion bolts, those bolts turn into bombs, those bombs, whenever enemies get together, kill other enemies, and you end up generating orbs for your teammates. It is absolutely amazing to use. If you've ever got a Nightfall or a Heroic Strike that has Void Burn and Specialist, put on the Telesto, you will not be disappointed, and you will absolutely destroy everything. So, opening up all those exotics at 397, I got one piece of 399 gear, and the rest was mostly 397. Now we're going to go ahead and open up some stuff while we're 399 light, and see if our luck changes at all. Can we get that elusive 400 exotic drop? For starters, we got a Trespasser, which is absolutely amazing. I would be absolutely floored by getting the Trespasser, except for the fact that I just bought one from Jur. So I couldn't get Trespasser to drop all the way up until Jur sold it. I bought it from Jur, I infused it up to 400, I finally get a Trespasser to drop, and it drops at 399 light. Oh man, oh man. Unrepentant actually combos with the transversive steps of the Warlock. We did a video on those Warlock exotic boots, which are simply ridiculous and cool and awesome. My favorite is actually this skin. I really like that ornament. That looks pretty slick. So we got a Trespasser, and let's see what we finish up with. Let's go ahead and open up those blues first. Get those out of the way. We don't need them. Opening up this primary weapon, we get a Hard Light. So I'm probably going to use this as infusion fuel because I really don't use the Hard Light, and it is 400 light. There we go. With the Hard Light, whenever you see people using it, you end up seeing all of those blasts just bouncing all around the arena. It's a pretty slick weapon. The perks are actually pretty good on it overall, and the stats aren't bad either. The one problem with the Hard Light is just generally how its animation actually is. It feels like it bounces around so much whenever you're firing it off. It's a cool weapon, it's got cool perks. I just don't use it because I really just don't find a need for it, and I get thrown off a little bit by all the jitter. Finally, we've got some helmets. Let's go ahead and open up these helmets. In Astrocyte Verse, that's the first one I got of this. It is brand new to the Rise of Iron. Skull of Dire Omkar, and Astrocyte Verse. Okay, so Cryptarch, he wasn't really very creative right there. As far as the light levels go, okay, 400 for the Astrocyte Verse. That's what I'm talking about, and I'm definitely going to use this as infusion fuel. I know it's brand new and I don't have any of these, but this is a terrible helmet. This is probably one of the worst exotics in the game, and that's saying something. Temporarily increases recovery during blink. Some people have already done videos exposing this. It's barely effective at all. Completely useless, completely useless. Skull of Dire Omkar, we just saw Jur with this thing. We know that it improves your energy drain, though this is a little bit of a dated exotic because the Warlock already has some gauntlets that can do what this does, except for a little bit better. So unfortunately this thing is a little bit dated, and we're going to be using this as infusion fuel as well. So we've got some 400 infusion fuel and some 399 infusion fuel. So the Astrocyte Versus came at 400 light, the Skull of Dire Omkara, 399. So we're going to use all that stuff and bump up our character's light. And finally, we've got a few exotics to go ahead and open while we're 400 light. So we've seen the struggle at 397 light, we've even seen the struggle at 399 light. Are things going to be any different whenever we're 400? You can see that we've got a lot of different things to open up, so let's just go left to right, why not? Starting off, we've got an Astrocyte verse, okay. And for our second one, Frost EEs. Yes, this is the first pair of Frost EEs that I've gotten. A Nemesis Star. And for our second heavy, we got Super Good Advice. There we go. For our primary, we got a Hawk Moon. And just opening our Cryptarch packages. Of course, gotta go in, gotta back out. If you want to go ahead and grab and open up those things. There go the blues. And for our final special, we got a Zen Meteor. Okay, so let's go ahead and check all the light levels on this stuff. Hawk Moon is 400 light. That's a nice way to go ahead and start about things. So Hawk Moon is cool, except for the fact that it cannot get that max range that other hand cannons have. And because of that, and because it takes an exotic slot, Hawk Moon is falling by the wayside compared to legendary hand cannons, and that's really a shame. For our Zen Meteor, it too is 400 light. Again, we've got Dynamite with a laser beam. Not really used all that much. PlayStation exclusive, not used all that much. Moving on next to our heavy, we've got the Nemesis Star, again, 400 light. So far, since I'm 400 light, now we're getting the stuff. So basically, the Nemesis Star is pretty much what the Thunderlord should be in the game right now. Unfortunately, Thunderlord isn't really as usable or as effective in the game because of the way that its perk works and the way that the heavy ammo works in the game right now. Nemesis Star is actually the way that it's better to go ahead and use a machine gun. Astrocyte verse, 400 light again. Astrocyte verse, man, all I get is 400 light Astrocyte verses. And of course, my Frost EEs, 400 light. I would have been really salty if these would have some reason dropped at 399 light. You end up being able to sprint and turn quicker and easier. You get your grenade and melee to cool down quicker whenever you're sprinting. Looks pretty cool. I'm definitely going to put these on my Hunter and try them out. I'm really excited for that, for sure. Hunter's got some pretty cool exotics in the Rise of Iron. I wish I could just go ahead and see them. That's kind of sad. So those were those exotic drops. Oh, and I totally forgot, I also got a Super Good Advice, and it too is 400 light. So if you're opening up your exotics at 400 light, you will get exotics at 400 light, at least in my minimal testing right there. Boy, you can't raise your light level with exotics though. Boy, it is difficult. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your exotics, and I'll see you around in Destiny. Trick or treat!